perfectly honest, we're all going to catch some very windy conditions overnight. It's going to turn extremely wet. Now, that is of some concern because there could well be some flooding later on this week. If I step to one side, you can see what's brewing up out in the Atlantic. Huge lump of cloud, and that's going to clobber some northern and western parts of the UK as time goes by. But ahead of that, the cloud is well broken. In fact, it's really bright and breezy and quite mild out there for many of us, with temperatures widely up into double figures. There will be bands of blustery showers, though, moving from Northern Ireland through Scotland, the more northern and western parts of England and Wales. They'll die down for a time overnight, and then some really wet weather will get going, initially in Northern Ireland and then right through this central slice of the UK later on in the night. To the north and the south, it will be drier, touch of frost perhaps in the glens. But it's the wet weather and the windy weather tomorrow morning which will be of concern. A horrible start to the day, gusts of 40 or 50 miles an hour around exposed coasts of England and Wales. And that wind will push that rain back northwards again. So after a dry start across the northernmost parts of Northern Ireland, the rain will return. For Scotland, it'll be a dry start today. I mentioned a touch of frost in the glens, and northeastern parts of Scotland probably hanging on to the dry, bright weather for much of the day. This is 8 o'clock, but the rain will return across the borders. Already wet across much of northern England, particularly over into the west of the Pennines. To the south of that, through the Midlands, East Anglia, and much of southern England, there'll be dribs and drabs of rain or drizzle, no great amounts. It'll be cloudy, it will be windy, but it'll be mild. Temperatures already up to 10 to 12 degrees. It's going to be a mild, if rather blustery day. A bit of patchy drizzle perhaps across southwestern parts of England, but it's further north across Wales, where it will be a particularly wet start to the day. And for Snowdonia, it's probably going to stay pretty wet for much of the day, because only slowly does this rain return back northwards again. So deteriorating across the more southern and western parts of Scotland in particular. The brightness hanging on across the far northeast. For southern parts of England and Wales, I think we'll see some brightness around, and yes, again mild, 13 or 14 degrees despite that blustery wind. Looking beyond that, though, it's not good news, I'm afraid, for the northern and western parts of the UK, particularly southwest Scotland, Cumbria, Lancashire. We could see as much as 100, 120 millimetres of rain in the next 48, 72 hours. You don't have to be a weatherman to know that that is going to cause some problems, given the rain we've had earlier on over the last few days. We have an early warning for that heavy rain. Do stay tuned to that website for updates on that. Louise.
Okay.